Welcome back. So, these issues plaguing Nigeria, on the 7th day, people are protesting. They're calling it a hunger protest. They're saying we need food in our stomach. And some people have become very angry and they're calling on foreign governments to intervene, waving foreign flags. And of course, the security chiefs are not having it, taking it lightly. To discuss this with me today is, he's a politician, he's a businessman, he's a public affairs analyst, sport enthusiast, hotelier, and he's a chairman, Nigerian Association of, Akwa Ibom State. Daniel Udoh, a.k.a. North South. Welcome to Political Spectrum on Spectrum Television.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Good to see you.
Thank you very much
for
inviting me.
It seems as if Nigeria is boiling today. And let's start with how we got here. How did we get here? Because just a few months ago, we had the NLC, TUC, the down tools, shut down the economy, as it were, and the government catered to them. And it seems as if the remaining unemployed people said, okay, let us also go on our own strike. And that's where, how did we get here?
Well, I'm not surprised because I saw it coming, and I don't know why those in authority did not see it coming. From day one, there were a lot of issues that those in authority should have taken note of. Why they did not, or maybe they did, but decide not to attend to those, what they saw as danger sign, is what I cannot explain. However, I want to actually say that Nigeria is governed by a bunch of human beings, both politicians and those in the civil service, who are not sincere, who are not honest to those whom they have gotten the mandate from to govern. The Bible says that my people perished due to lack of knowledge. And again, the truth, the Bible says, will set you free. We are not honest to ourselves. We are not sincere to ourselves. Both the led and those being the leaders are not honest people. Because, for instance, I give you grounds for that. A woman will go to the market, that is the lead, and buy okra at maybe a cup for 10 naira or 1 naira or 200 naira, and come and sell for 1,000 naira to his fellow human beings. Okay? A few days ago, I stopped by a market in a village and got a bunch of plantain for 2 bunches of plantain for 9,000 naira. And when I got back to you, and I asked my wife and somebody else that is very close to me, who's been assisting me in purchasing stuff for my hotel, how much this could have gone in the market, in Akpan market. And they told me it's 25,000 naira.
Whoa.
That from that village to Yo is just about 1,000 naira. And the lead would always tell you, the traders, they will always tell you that the reason for them, taking the price that high is because of transportation. Agreed. Cost of transportation has gone up, and we know the reason for that. Now, but must we capitalize on that to punish ourselves? Because I use the word ourselves. Because at the end of the day, each and every one of us offer one services or the other. And so, somewhere along the line, if you benefit by selling Gary, wouldn't you need something else that somebody else is selling? And the person will also jack up his own price. So whatever gain you made from selling your Gary at that level of that rate, you will find yourself, the gain will be diminished. Because what you are going to buy from somebody else who also offer a different kind of service will completely obliterate whatever profit you had made.
But you are talking now about people who have something to do.
Yeah.
People who are, of course, they are taking this opportunity and misusing it, abusing it for their own think for their own gain, because I don't think they're correct. But then let's come back. We have a large chunk of young people. We are a very young continent, and we are a very young country in terms of the percentage of youthful population and the ratio of youthful population against the rest. And particularly when you look at youth unemployment, I'm not too surprised to see, there's a time I stayed in the north. And sometimes I know that some people think that all of the poverty across Nigeria is the same. Well, I think that there are some people who will survive with lesser money in the north than in the south. This violence, this protest has turned violent. People are angry. How did we get to the point where we abandon, it seems, our plans for development and our plan for the youth, our plan for education, and we are where we are today?
Yeah, I said it. I needed to talk about what we ourselves are doing to ourselves. I'm talking about the masses themselves. Now, let me talk about the leadership. The biggest problem we have in Nigeria, everybody knows that, is leadership. All right? It has nothing to do with Tinubu. Tinubu is just a year old, or year and some few months old. Somebody was in office for 8 years. He laid a foundation that had brought us to where we are today. And nobody seems to be talking. We seem to have forgotten. Just like a woman who had pregnancy and after delivery will want to go back to meet with the husband again within less than 1 month. Yeah, that's the situation Nigerians have found themselves. Both the media and everybody is an accused person, as far as I'm concerned. Nigerians and the leadership.
When you say the media,
Nigerians and the leadership, even the media,
how so?
are not sincere to themselves. Now, when we see things not, because when you talk about, we kept accusing the presidency, the president, and the government at the national level. The state has so much. Most of the problem we're having are at the state level. The states are allocated money. They are given large chunk of money. And since Tinubu came, and after the removal of the fuel subsidy, so much money coming to the national treasury, which is shared to the state. Most state now goes home with nothing less than 30-40 billion naira a month. Now, look at that amount, in comparison with what you are, looking at in terms of what the money has been used for. Is there anything, is there any relationship? There is none.
Our states have not been doing well.
So I don't know, I'm not referring to Akwa Ibom, I'm saying the states. All the states.
Yes.
Now, in those days when Wela was in office as Minister of Finance, Wela, we used to have the amount being given to each state and even the local government published. Now, that is not being done again. In those days, you used to have state, informing the public and whoever may be interested in quoting and tendering for jobs being publicized. And so people can tender for jobs. There's so much corruption. There's so much evil and wickedness against each other. And why I'm saying the media are also, part of it is because they are not reporting the story. They are not talking about the state. They are not talking about the actual people that are bringing us to where we are now. Nobody seems to be facing those people. We should face them. We should talk to them. We should have a town hall to debate about how much money comes into each state. And I'm happy that a few days ago, I noticed on television that some people are calling for it. Falana called for it. That, look, each state must give account of how much money they are getting from Abuja, how much money comes, they generate internally. Then what are they doing with the money? Because all the problems you are talking about, you are here in the state, the problems are in the state. Abuja may not be the real issue. The issues are in Kano, they are in Jigawa, they are in here and there. And I'm not surprised. I stayed in the north for 13 years. And I was elected, the first elected President General of Akwa Ibom community in Kaduna. Okay? So I know the situation, and I live in Kaduna for several years. El-Rufai and all those players are people that I've known one-on-one. And when you meet with them before they got into office, they created the impression that there are people who will be sincere and honest to the people. But when they get into office, the level of corruption in Nigeria is so high that if 1 billion is set aside to get a certain job done, what goes into the job is less than 50%. The rest goes into people's private
Let me pick up on that point.
So how do you expect that much will be done? Look at our state, for instance. Look at our state. For 8 years, the previous government was in office, and so much was invested in development of industries. Are they working? Are people working there? As the media talk about it? We have a 21-story building. We have a coconut refineries. That is why I'm talking about insincerity and lack of honesty. Nobody seems to be talking about it. They raised the Tropicana with over 80-something billion naira wasted. Nobody's talking about it. There's the science park.
And the amusement
over
park.
40-something billion went in there. Nobody's talking about it. Okay? Nobody's talking about it. Just recently, you have the Kwa River Hotel in Eket, where so much money of public funds was sunk into it, and nothing happens. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody cares about it. You right? So when you look at these things, that's why I opened my statement by talking about insincerity and lack of honesty and lack of commitment to the people's well-being and the people themselves, because you cannot eat your cake and have it.
Now,
when the people select and elect and impose people in power.
Let me talk about that. Now, we have a situation where we keep every election cycle, we have a system that seems to present people image and then they find themselves in power. But that system does not scrutinize, talking about sincerity, it does not open up the players in the light of reality. What do I mean?
What?
Why don't we have, or why haven't we had something like a state or presidential debate as part of the political process enshrined in the
Beautiful. That is
electoral
why
act?
I made a point that we need a town hall.
Because people can never get to know the people if they don't get to hear from them.
For you, the media, for me and other members of the public, to sit with the people in government to demand for reasons, to demand, ask questions, okay? Nobody has ever had a moment to ask questions. Nobody's talking about it. I just talk about all those things that trillions of our money were invested, all wasted, monumental failures. These are white elephant projects. None has any value. None has added anything to us in terms of employment, in terms of anything. Now, yes, we have an airline. Beautiful. I love it. It's exciting to know that Akwa Ibom is the only state with an airline. But when last did they have their AGM? I believe you understand what I mean. When last did they have their AGM? Annual general meeting where whoever are the owners of the airline would sit and listen to what the management of the airline are doing with their money. If they are making money or don't making money. If they are making profit or not. Has anybody asked any question? Has anybody talked about Ibom Icon hotels? What is happening there? What has happened to the 4 Point in Ikorogbene? These are our business. This is your business, my business. This is our project. This is our properties. And so we, members of the public, should demand, the media should demand to know. They should ask questions. They should ask questions about Tropicana. What went wrong there? How can money that could have been used to develop maybe up to 10 industry with 2, 3, 4, 5,000 people working there gone into that drain? And nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about anything. Nobody's asking any question. We are just being cosmetic. We are just dressing the issues, not going into the main problem that we're having. That's why I started by telling you that, and I want everybody to listen, that we are not sincere.
Sure.
Both the governed and those governing us are not sincere. Because, yes, the protests across, and I'm happy it's taking place in the north. I live in the north. You cannot sow whatever, and expect to get peace. When in the north, you have people who should have gone to study and do, acquire skill and do certain things. Yes, we have thousands of Northerners who are in the farms, but there are many, millions of others who are being misled to believe that they can do nothing. You have the Amajiri system where hundreds of millions of young Nigerians are out of school. They don't do anything. They don't have any skill. They don't have, they litter the entire north. I've been to Katsina, I've been to Sokoto, I've been to everywhere in the north. So I can tell you that you have more than 20 million Amajeris, and these people don't have jobs. Okay, now, so what were you expecting? It was a time bomb waiting to explode.
That's the exact word that the Plateau State Governor Wufang used while he was talking about the need to take a look at childbearing and population in the north, for instance. And he's made his intentions known to begin that process. My
good friend, there's so much hypocrisy, there's so much insincerity, because I don't want to go into religious issues. So I don't get accused of being offensive to any religion. But I told you I live in the north.
Yes.
I have an idea about what the situation there is. Okay? I was not living in the north as a, just a cleaner. I was a leader. Okay? I was a leader there. So, and I was well informed, I'm educated. And I saw things that I felt is a time bomb. Could have been 2 years, 10 years, 5 years, but I know it was going to explode one day. And that's what we're facing right now. And a situation where everyone that gets into power does not care about the well-being of the people. All they are after is how to line their pockets, loot, and render the citizenry useless. I mean, what were you expecting? You cannot eat your cake and have it. So that's the situation we are facing right now. And I'm happy you gave me this medium to express an opinion. The media must wake up. In other climb, the media is the watchdog. That's what they call you, the watchdog of the society. What are you watching? What are you talking? You need to watch and make comments. But the media can even instigate this town hall meeting where all of us would gather somewhere to debate about the federal government, of course, because we were all citizens of Nigeria, and the state.
I'm going to bring back the
state of the federation.
I'm going to bring back that point you just made. But let's get Bash Olashopo, who is on. Okay, he's online. He's joining us from Abuja. He's a human rights advocate, development, security, and governance specialist, working with development organizations in conflicts across the country, insurgency in the northeast, farmer-headed conflicts, Niger Delta militancy, South Kaduna conflict, and accountability in government. Mr. Bash, welcome to Political Spectrum on Spectrum Television. Of course, we are taking a look at what's playing out, and we've been asking the question, how did we get here? So I'd like to ask you that question too. How did we get to the point where you have people in the streets waving Russian flags, calling for the toppling of the government? In fact, people are saying they are politically sponsored because you're having children as young as 9 on the streets. How did we get here?
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure joining you here. I've been listening to the other guests who have with you in the studio, and I think he has been able to hit the nail on the head and been able to make some very useful contributions, which I think is commendable. From my own perspective, I think we cannot be doing surface scratching, or rather, we just be surface scratching if we do not go deep into how we got here. What we have today is the result of accumulated frustration, unachievable aspirations, and a lot of frustration all over the place. And this is traceable to not only the leadership, but the followership.
Absolutely.
There is a dictum that says the only way for evil to triumph is for all the good men to fold their arms and watch without doing anything. At the same time, I think realistically, objectively, I think one way or the other, we are all guilty. Unfortunately, we've gotten to a point in Nigeria that over time, what we do is just a buck passing. We shift the blame to somebody to carry, and that is what has played down to where we are today. Some of the issues that have triggered the recent crisis, they are not issues that have not been with us for more than 20 years now. Even under the military, some of these things have been there. We abandoned some of those things we ought to have done. The economy was there, but because it was easier, we using the oil, making it to come in and then just sell it, and that's how we allow all our refineries to die. There are a lot of funny things that people have been doing in government that when you hear them, if the people on the streets today have known about them 20, 30, 25 years ago, I'm sure that maybe we will have been able to tackle them heads on. I will give you an example. When General Obasanjo was the president, a friend of ours was made to oversee the bitumen team, I think in Ondo State and other parts of the country. And he came home and shocked us that he was surprised that our government did not do the assessment of the quantity of bitumen we have on its own. Rather, it went to meet those people who said they will help us do the exploration, to come and do the quantification of what we have, and then they will start negotiating with us on how much we pay or how much they will get and so on. If we are as lazy as that, you know what it means. The communication, the message we are passing across is terrible. And today, thank God the guest you have in the studio said he has been living in the north. I go to the north. In fact, if not for this crisis, as of today, I'm supposed to be in Maiduguri, Borno State for some interventions. The reality is that the problem is all over the country, and we pretend that these things are not as bad as they are. The issue of oil subsidy that people are talking about, because most of these issues of hunger, subsidy, and so on, withdrawal, and so on, they are just the rally points that people have used to also trigger what is on ground. People have their different reasons for joining this. And the issue of underage children carrying flags that they do not even know the implications did not just come by accident. Some persons have an agenda, and they felt, okay, we have the tools on our hands to use, which are the people who are hungry, who are jobless. Most of those children, if you ask them, in some part of the country, you go there and you see a father meeting his own child, an underage child on the street, and will be greeting the child and be saying, long time no see. That's a child that ought to be under his custody in his house, that he should be responsible for the upkeep, the education, and so on. But people sire these children, give birth to them, and just leave them and make them the liability of the society to carry on. So, political issues are there, social issues are there, economic issues are there, and none of this could be treated in isolation. There are things that we must look ourselves straight in the face and be able to tell each other the truth. Like the man with you, the gentleman with you has said. I've seen what is happening. The buck passing has been that traditionally the governors are protected by saying it's the federal government. But even at the level of the state, what are we really doing? The resources are coming in, questions are not being asked. Where I grew up, the road to the local government secretariat there, for more than 8 years, that road within the town was abandoned because nobody could ply it. And yet, people go there at the end of the month to go and collect their salary, and that has been it. So we have endemic problems, and these are problems that we cannot wish off overnight. We really need to sit down. The issue about town hall meetings is one of the best ways to go, particularly at the grassroots level. For instance, if anything is wrong in my state or in my local government, and people keep talking about the president of Nigeria, who is how many kilometers away there, who does not even on record have it that he has been to that community before. and you want him to understand the challenges of the people in those communities. That's why we have representatives. But most of our representatives, elected and appointed ones, once they get there, they find it that, yes, thank God is our opportunity to start eating. I have a lot of friends who are already in public positions today, either appointed or elected. The first thing they do is they get themselves disconnected from the people, even as friends who can tell them the truth. That, look, this is what you should do. But you call them, they won't even pick your call. Okay. And in recent time, last night, a lot of friends called me. We were engaged in this type of discussion because it's very sad. I was almost crying yesterday when I saw a viral video of a friend of mine who became the provost of a college of education. And this issue of getting himself disconnected from the people, that when people were saying that maybe this, I said, no, the problem is he himself. You are heading an institution, the bursar is against you, the registrar is against you, the students are against you, then something must be wrong with you. People get to positions, they believe that, okay, they don't owe people any responsibility to even hear about their perspectives on issues on how they do things.
Mr. Olashukwu, let me get Mr. Udo to get in on this what you're talking about now. This connection between the people and the leaders, because you're having what is the Senate President Godswill Akpabio is being accused of being insensitive. There are words that some people say he said, but he says he's not saying it. This fellow from VATSA, he's coming out to say, no, you should resign. And when you look at the political class, like Mr. Bash Olashukwu has said, they seem to be this out of touch. They don't live in Nigeria. They seem to live in another Nigeria, in another world. How do we get them to listen? Must we come to a place where people have to fight and clamor and before they get heard? How can we get out of here?
Well, anyway, let me thank Mr. Bash Olashukwu for his, his own perspective. I have already said it all, my dear. We are not sincere to ourselves.
You keep happy.
And I'm happy he also
mentioned
that the problem, the masses themselves. Look at the road. How many years? Nobody. The people themselves who are here. That road, they used to manage it when nothing was done. But when they came, they gave them the impression they were coming to do the road. They damaged the road, destroyed the road. The people can hardly move around anymore. And nobody is talking about it. Nobody is bothered about it. Nobody is crying over it.
I think a contract has been awarded.
Media,
a contract has been awarded.
Institution is here on this very axis, and nobody seems to be raising it. It should be a major issue in your agenda. Anyway, almost on daily basis. I'm not interested. It has taken how many years? That's what they usually tell us.
Fair point.
Well, anyway, the point I'm trying to make, sir. You heard it.
The disconnect.
The disconnect. The moment they get into office, they don't answer your call. But let me address the issue of that gentleman from wherever that is calling on the resignation of
the Senate President.
The Senate President. It's not because the Senate President is from Akwa Ibom. I'm from Akwa Ibom. But let me say this. When all these evil was being committed in the previous government, where was is it Yahaya or whatever they call him? Why was he not calling for the
resignation of the
former Senate President or even the President? I am not going to sit here and call for the President or anyone, and I'm not sure that the Akpabio made any such statement to start with. But all I'm trying to say is that is not the issue. The issue is not about Akpabio. The issue, like I said, is not about the president. The president is Akpabio is just barely about a year old in office. And I think, to the best of my knowledge, he has done quite a lot already. He has been able to successfully ensure that that very house, you know the foundation, the very beginning, that some people were totally against Akpabio being put in that position. And those people are still around. They will go to any length to want to try to blackmail him, to try to bring him down and that kind of thing. I'm not defending him because he's an Akwa Ibom person or from the South. I am saying that these hypocrites, because that's the issue, hypocrisy and lack of sincerity. When some people out there in the North, we were here. The same people gathered and said Jonathan should be removed, he's clueless, he's this and that and that. And then today, you had for 8 years somebody who laid the foundation of what we are now going through. And nobody talk about it.
But then again, that's the point I'm trying to make. You cannot divorce this administration from the previous administration. It's the same party.
Yes, agreed it's the same party. But you know, if you bring down this building, to bring down this building is a matter of few hours or less than an hour. If you use the dynamite, in a few seconds it will be down. If you use human beings, they take maybe the next 5 hours, they will bring down the whole of this structure. But do you remember how long it took you to put up this structure? And if you bring it down, first you have to remove the debris. Am I right? When the land was plain, it was okay. You just come, start the foundation and that kind of thing, clear the bush, clear the place, and start it. But if you bring down this structure as it is now down, and you need to start all over again, first, you need to remove the debris. Am I right? Is that correct? Then, before you start the construction. What Tinubu met was a building that was brought down. The economy was virtually in comatose. The political system was corrupted and destroyed. Everything was twisted. There was nepotism. There was all manner of evil.
But he knew what he was getting into.
I'm coming. Yes, agreed. Agreed. You know what you are getting into. All right? A woman will always know that if she meet the man again after 2 months, she will get pregnant again. But does that mean that the woman will not meet the man again? Of course they will meet. Whether you like it or not, whether she knows the pain she will have to go through again or not, she will still meet the man. Am I right? Is that correct?
You're correct.
I am married, so I know what I'm talking about.
After 9 months.
So, you understand? So the fact that the nation was virtually brought down does not mean that somebody else would not raise his hand and said, I will want to come and correct what has been destroyed. Tinubu raised his hand and said, look, despite the situation, notwithstanding the situation, I am willing. Here I am. Please give me a chance. Let me see what I can do. And when he came, he saw the rot. He saw all the destruction. And is now trying to clear he has taken him 6 months or more to clear the debris. And now he's in the process of trying to construct, to put back what has been destroyed. And I want to call on Nigerians that please, let me look straight into the faces of my brothers and sisters out there. Because what they are going through, I am going through. I run a hotel, I know what I'm going through. In terms of diesel, in terms of everything you can ever imagine, thrown at us. Now, the hotel industry, which I run, the hotel association, with all the hotels under me, I know what they are passing through. There are people today in some hotels that pays between 10 to 15 million naira every month.
For diesel?
Now, yes, for diesel. No, not to PHED. Then diesel, I had a friend who's running one, I don't want to mention them, who pays 5-point-something million to PHED and 4.9 million for diesel and fuel. That is another story for another day. Or maybe if you will want to ask me about that. But today we were to talk about, I'm appealing to Nigerians that these protests, especially the violent angle, will not give us any positive, nothing. It will bring us nothing. It will bring us to square one. It will bring us to that same situation that I've just described, of bringing down what was already there. And then you will now come and start rebuilding. Now, it will take us years. So my appeal, the president has made a statement. Of all the things he said and all the criticism, I took one thing out of that speech. And that was, come, let us sit down and discuss. I can't remember him calling Nigerians to come for them to sit down. Like the NLC. I'm a unionist. I was in USC. I was appointed a shop steward in USC in the 80s. And I'm telling you that the best moment for, unionists to arrive at something is when they come to the round table. If you continue like the Nigerian Civil War, I was a young child. you know, about 7 or 9 years old. So I saw it all. And I can tell you, the only point at which was when my brother, your brother, General Philip Effiong, now decided that this thing must come to an end. The man that initiated it, the man that started it all, ran away. He escaped and left those whom he instigated to go. Like what is happening right now? Those who have instigated Nigerians to carry Russian flag, they are in Europe, they are in America, they are somewhere else. Some of them they are in mansion, enjoying themselves, and they are providing the fire. They are providing the fuel. They are providing the money to enable these young men to go and die. So, you know, I don't have anything against protest. The Constitution guarantees that. But then, violent protests and raising Russian flag, what can Russia do for us? What has Russia not done to Africa, and West Africa in particular? They had brought the destruction. They are destroying democracy. So nobody should tell me about Russia. Russia cannot even rule itself.
Mr. Daniel,
that is a totalitarian.
Mr. Daniel, let me get Mr. Bash to just have a word, because we're out of time.
There is nothing Russia can offer us.
We're out of time. Bash,
I'm sorry to say that.
Bash, you have like 1 minute or so. Give us your take on. You're a security expert, and that's your area. Bash, is Bash still with us? You're a security expert. Just in 1 minute, when you look at Niger, Mali, and he talked about Russia coming in, and then you're seeing Russian flags, and then you have this allegation of foreigners infiltrating. DSS is doing something about it. Are we confident that what DSS is doing is going to help us? Are we confident that they gave us the security report that we are going to have some violence, and then we are seeing this? Are we confident that what they are talking about, fishing out the foreign sponsors, is going to be adequate to help us quell this issue?
Yes, let me also respond to that by saying
just about a minute, because we're out of time. I'll let you have the last word. I think I'll bring you back. I'll bring both of you back. I think we have quite a number of things that we need to discuss. So I'll bring you back, but because of time, we are out of time. So in 1 minute or so, give us your perspective.
Okay. Yeah, my perspective is this. Let's not deceive ourselves that this is a battle for the DSS alone or something for the DSS alone to unravel. The president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. And when you talk of the armed forces, it's not only those ones. All the security agencies are also involved. They've always had their own challenges, which is the issue of unnecessary competition and rivalry among them. But the reality is that we've gotten to a point that even whether we believe or we have the confidence in DSS or not, they will have to do their own bit. The other agencies, the immigration, all of them have roles to play in this. And once there is that synergy and determination, and the only thing I see is that from the body language of the president, from the speech, and the things that on the ground, I think we have a president who has the political will that is required to be able to get us out of all these crises. Because it's also that political will and the sense of determination and independence that led to what is happening today. He has been independent in choosing his ministers, deciding some of his policies, whereas the people who have always been the ones that even before a president will make a broadcast, they must come and show them the script. They are no longer there. They are being marginalized because the man came out. President Tinubu said it, that nobody bankrolled his election. He used his personal resources. And that has made it difficult for any group that seems to be benefiting from the tragedy of the country in the past to also come in now and say, okay, we want to do business as usual. And that is why you see this kind of fight back you are getting from them. So DSS, all the security agencies, response agencies, everybody, even our individuals, our communities, leaders, followers, everybody, we have roles to play. In security, they say when you see something, say something. But when our people see something, they look for what they can get out of that something. And if they are not able to get anything from it, they say nothing. And that is part of the problem we have.
Wow.
A new orientation for everybody, a new orientation for those who have those responsibilities, and the collective determination by Nigerians to move the country forward. Thank you.
We'll leave it there. That was Bash Olashukbo. He's a human rights advocate, a development, security, and governance specialist, who joined us from Abuja. Thank you very much for being on the program. Certainly, I'll have to bring you back. We have so much that we have to discuss, particularly with regards to governance and security. And also in our studios in Uyo, Daniel Udo, a.k.a. North South. Thank you very much for your thoughts. And I think that challenge that you've given to by the way, the media has been speaking out. I would agree that I would say that maybe not enough, but we've been speaking out. But maybe we take it a notch higher. Thank you for being on the program.
Let me just add 1 second. Please, Nigerians, let's call off the strike. Let's listen to our president, whether you accept him or not. That is the president for this moment. Let us, the leaders of the various groups, have a moment to meet with the president and have a discussion over those issues. Because every war ends on a round table. And then finally, I'm appealing to all of us to get across, to pressurize our governors and our local government chairmen to please, now that all the money is going direct to them, that they should be accountable. We should meet with them. These are our money. It's not their money. They are only there
let's leave it there.
So
let's leave it there. Thank you for joining us today. That was a package on Political Spectrum today. My name is Ifeanyi Okomoyeka. Of course, we'll have another edition tomorrow. Be sure to join us. But once again, have a wonderful day. As you go out, be safe. Make sure that you do whatever the law says you should do. Enjoy the rest of your day.